Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. So we've been covering Luigi Mangione, the alleged assassin of Brian Thompson. Alleged. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. We'll talk about that quite a bit. But let me first start off asking the question that why do we already know so much about Luigi and we do not know anything about Thomas Crooks nearly 5 months later? Nothing. Nothing about the parents. We know everybody in his family. We know his sister's got a business. We know what is his uncles in the Senate. We know everything about this kid. We know nothing about Thomas Crooks. Good question, right? So this whole case to me is extremely odd, and I'd like to know your thoughts and your theories. I'm going to talk about a lot of things tonight. Tonight's going to cover a lot of evidence. Okay. Now, some things with this just does not sit right with me. They caught him with a quote unquote 3D printed gun and suppressor and a manifesto. And he was just chilling at Mickey D's with those items 6 days after making the absolute most cleanest getaway in New York, which is covered with CCTV. Now, maybe he wanted to get caught. I'll go into that later. Maybe he was not the shooter. I'm going to go into that too. But he was born into a wealthy family. This came out that his family was extremely wealthy, apparently millionaires, real estate tycoons, you name it. So he comes from a very wealthy family. He probably is set for life. Odd someone makes that type of decision, right? He attended a $40,000 a year private school where he became valedictorian. Obviously, an achievement. There's usually only one of those in a school. And he then went on to college, earned a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering. His cousin, like I said, is the current Maryland state legislator. He has no criminal record, Luigi, that is. No flags at all. Actually, the complete opposite. He's actually a very successful guy, good-looking guy, in good shape, active on social media. What he talks about on social media is tech. He talks about bettering oneself, these sort of things. He's critical of certain gurus and such. But he also became very successful in the business world. He was able to do well there. Now, he was essentially doing everything right. If this was your son or daughter, you would say, man, they're doing everything right. But then one day he just stops talking to friends and family, and the next thing you know, he's getting arrested at Mickey D's. He apparently had went ghost for some time, and on October 30th, one of his friends reached out to him on X, asked him if he was going to show up at a wedding. Now, apparently, Mangione had gone several months without contacting some members of his family as well as his friends who had become unsure of his whereabouts. And apparently he arrived, or whoever the individual was, arrived on November 24th. So this individual did not spend Thanksgiving with their family because they were in New York City. Now, let's talk about his X account for a minute. And I thought I had an image of it. Maybe I do. Let me see. I think I do here. Yes. You look at his banner here. What you've got here, 3 pictures. You got him shirtless, showing a washboard 6-pack on a hiking trail. You have a Pokemon character, and apparently the Pokemon character's name is Breloom, and an X-ray scan of a spine with 4 large pins held together at the head. Now, I didn't know this because I don't know anything about Pokemon, but I've seen somebody else posting about it. Breloom, I think it's Breloom. His Podex number is number 286. Now, apparently, someone also stated that he had 286 posts on his Twitter feed. Now, his other accounts have been removed, Instagram and things like that. I actually jumped on as soon as I found the name. I found the name before any mainstream. I found it in the local news in Altoona where he got arrested at. That's how I found the name. I immediately went and started looking on socials. People are asking how I pulled a social so fast because I got the name from the local place. Because once I saw there was a suspect in custody, I went to that local news site. Anyway, because local news will obviously a lot of times report things that mainstream media will not. Now back to the 286. Breloom's, this Pokemon character's Podex number, whatever that is 286. And maybe if you're into Pokemon, you can describe what that is. I have no idea what that means. 286 posts. Finally, he wound up at a McDonald's 286 miles away from New York. Okay, so 286 keeps coming up, this number. And it could be nothing. But why would a 26-year-old man have a Pokemon character? That's strange to me. Maybe some sort of symbolism, right? But apparently, 286 is a denial code from insurance companies. So you see here, denial code 286 is when the appeal time limits for the healthcare claim are not met. Learn how to handle this common issue in healthcare revenue cycle management. So I thought that was very strange. The number 286 is the character's name, character's Podex number. He's 286 miles away, and he had 286 posts on X. Strange. Could it be relevant, or could just be someone saying Podex number is the number of the Pokemon in what order it was found in the Pokemon world? Thank you. So maybe it's just coincidental. 286 is just one of those numbers. I don't know. But he was found 286 miles away from New York and carrying an alleged murder weapon, a fake ID. And here's a picture of the fake ID here. Mark Rosario, okay, New Jersey, and had a written manifesto against the American healthcare system. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read the manifesto here shortly. In possession of the only things that would prove him guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And you mean to tell me a McDonald's employee from a partial face pick, this one here, was able to spot him where the FBI couldn't find him, but a McDonald's employee did. You know, let's not forget this picture was taken off as he was flirting with an employee. This is the only thing that kept his anonymity was his mask, but he took a second while apparently, supposedly committing a murder that he shows his face to flirt with someone. Now, this photo is going to come back up in a moment, but while he was at Mickey D's, here's a photo of him at Mickey D's eating a hash brown. I guess someone walked up and took a picture. He was working on his laptop. Now, it's presumed that maybe he was getting ready to do some drops on social media. But there's no way. I mean, maybe the mask, but the guy's got his eyebrows covered up, which I think is the most significant thing to pick him out. But you know, if he had not worn a mask, I don't think it'd even been a thing. But maybe the mask. I don't know. It's just odd to me. But he was working on his laptop, and so he had a now disabled YouTube account. I'm going to post up here, right here, and there was one single video that dropped, and I'm going to play it while I'm talking because it has no sound. But essentially, it's a countdown, and it says the truth. If you see this, I'm already under arrest. Now, I don't know if another subsequent video was coming, and because his YouTube channel is deleted, because you can film a video and have it post even a year from now. You know, I could film a video today, and a year from now it posts. But I don't know if there was another video coming. But the YouTube channel is now deleted, so you can't even see what the thing was. But it's some strange countdown clock. Now, you see, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, and it goes to the end here. It says the truth. It shows some flashing lights, and it says soon at the bottom, soon. So that was on his YouTube channel. Now, Pennsylvania prosecutor Peter Weeks said in court that Mangione was found with a passport, $10,000 cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, Mangione apparently disputed that amount when he was arraigned. Also, he was caught with a Faraday bag. A Faraday bag, if you don't know, is something that can reduce your signal. Like you can put your cell phone in there and it cannot be tracked. It also protects from EMPs. But he had one of these bags. He told the judge when he was asked about it that it was just a waterproof bag. Now, let's talk about the firearm for a moment. The upper, they're apparently saying, was ordered online. Here's a picture of the actual. This is the actual firearm in his possession. We have not seen a suppressor. You see a threaded barrel there. But apparently the upper was ordered online. They're now looking to see if that manufacturer mailed to his home address. Again, the suppressor we haven't seen. Now, it's crazy because, suppressor is an NFA item, and it's only 0.02 of crimes committed, but it's an NFA item. This is one of the single times it was used. Now, apparently this is a V1 Glock remix of the FMDA DD19.2, designed by an online firearm enthusiast. You can essentially get these files on the internet for free, and they're open source, and you can get printers that are cheap and readily available and make the rest. A lot of people thought it was a P80 frame, but this is actually a one that was made from online. So it's also, I would say, timely because they're trying to push legislation against ghost guns. Lowers you can assemble yourself. They're also trying to, I've heard talk that the new administration could try to open suppressors to the public because it's a 0.02 used in crimes. It's less than baseball bats. So timely, just in time for, trying to push some gun legislation. Now, here's the quote from the manifesto. It was written on 3 pages, handwritten in his handwriting. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This is fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do list that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is apparently it's indecipherable, largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. It has grown and grown, but as our life expectancy, no. The reality is the indecipherable, they can't make out what he wrote, have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have the space. And frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out this full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I'm the first to face it with such brutal honesty. So he wrote that in a notebook, and so it's just a picture of this guy, and you see this photo here. But the main thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to let his attorney talk for a minute. His attorney Thomas Dickey has said this evening that we would be pleading not guilty to all charges. The attorney said there's zero evidence that Mangione is the shooter.
This the murder charge or the charge?
Is that why all your cameras are here?
Can you just help us understand what do you expect him not to plead guilty to? Is this the murder charge or the charges in Pennsylvania?
If you charge a person, if the government charges a person with a crime, they have to prove that, okay? And they have to have some evidence, all right? So, we got it. Like I said, you can look on this table, and here's all the evidence I have right here, guys. Zoom in, I suppose you want to. Nothing. I've seen nothing. I have nothing, and and we'll get that, and we'll
The
take
money
What
that he
is he
said is
pleading not
splintered on
guilty
him.
to? What charges both?
every charge, every charge.
Every charge, soup to nuts.
Every charge.
What about the money?
But what money?
It was $8,000 that was followed him.
I'm not commenting on that again. Like I said, I don't know anything about money other than what I've heard from you guys, and I will get to the bottom of that and figure that
Taking
out.
a step back for a second, you. Thank you. But stay close to the mics.
Okay, sorry.
When you saw news of the shooting last week that the CEO of United Health had been gunned down in the streets of Manhattan, what did you personally think? What was your reaction?
I saw someone comment in the chat here. Kid's in shape. Nobody thinks finding him nibbling on a hash brown at fast food joint is suspect. Absolutely, absolutely. I actually saw a lot of people comment the same thing. Getting Starbucks and eating hash browns or eating at McDonald's in general, But I kind of want to talk through this for a minute. You see this. This looks like the same guy here in these photos. However, and I don't know if I have these other photos here. I don't. But one thing about this photo, the only one that shows his face, you remember the backpack that the shooter was wearing. The shooter was wearing a gray backpack that they recovered in Central Park. In this photo here, because there's two photos here, I think I have another one maybe. Yeah. This is the other scene where he has his mask down. He is wearing a black backpack in this photo. It's cut off on the screen, but it's a black backpack. Also, if you notice from the other photos, the pockets on the jacket seen here are not present on the other photos. And you can watch my other videos where I talk about this. I actually discussed that in the other videos. I said, this is not the same jacket. It's the same color, but not the same jacket. Now, the attorney, just by my initial observation, seems to be very confident. That leads me to believe a theory. The question is begged what if he's not alone? Because in the manifest, he states that he acted alone. That would obviously send the trail cold because prosecutors are going to think they have the smoking gun because they have a gun. But what if that's not the gun that was used in the shooting? Maybe he had another gun. Let's say let's hypothetically say he did it. This kid's very smart. I don't foresee him, like I said at the beginning of the video, making the best exit out of New York City without being captured. They had no DNA evidence. They had zero evidence except for the one face shot. That his face was not seen. The face of the shooter was not seen. The face shown here with a black backpack with a different jacket on, same color but different jacket, wearing a black backpack. Okay, and the shooter was wearing a same color jacket with a gray backpack. And then in this photo here, he's wearing a black parka and he's wearing a black backpack. So who's this? And I'm talking about the one in the cab here. So who's to say, because the photos are different backpacks and different jackets, what if there are multiple people? Maybe he's involved, maybe he's not. But maybe he knows the shooter and he's not the shooter. Maybe he's not the shooter. He doesn't know the shooter. Whatever it may be, if there's not an actual chain of video, because they lost video, if you recall, in Central Park, right? They lost video. The only time they picked him back up with his photo in the cab here. And he could have just say, in the case of a legal argument, when you're in court and they do not have a chain of custody of you on video, and you just reemerge and they say, that's you. And let's say Luigi knows that firearm was not used. Now, the fake ID was only used at the hostel and given to police when he was called at McDonald's. So could he just be found guilty of using a fake ID? And I don't know the laws in Pennsylvania if you can just have a firearm or not without a license. But the thing is, the judge denied him bail. He has not been charged for murder in New York, but he's not bail. That's why his attorney is so upset, saying this is an injustice. But let's just theorize multiple people could be involved, and he knows that. He knows without a shadow of doubt, that's not the firearm they have. When they do ballistics, it's not going to match. They can't have a chain because it was not him. There's no DNA. There's no fingerprints. It looks very suspicious. Maybe there's more evidence. But remember, they were scratching. They were giving out up to $60,000, $50,000 FBI, 10,000 Crime Stoppers. And I read tonight that they're talking about not giving the McDonald's employee the money because he called 911 instead of Crime Stoppers or the FBI office. So I would like to know your thoughts on this. Again, the jackets, the backpacks don't match. Maybe the firearm doesn't match. Then you just have a guy that wrote a note at the end of the day. In a courtroom, that's all you would have. He didn't name any specifics in the note. And as he's escorted out of Pennsylvania courthouse, he shouted to reporters. And before I get to that, the lawyer, he was asking about $1,000 in a cab, and he said he didn't know anything about that. I have not heard about that. I actually searched that out. I did not see anything. But as he was escorted out of the Pennsylvania courthouse today, Mangione shouted to reporters. He said, "This is completely an injustice and an insult to the American people." Check it out.
Luigi. Oh my God! And it's completely out of touch. And an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
He seemed to say at the top of that this is extremely unjust as well, and that this is an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
All right, guys. So I do want to know your thoughts on this because there's a lot. Yeah, someone said Proverbs 28:6. Stay frosty, try Bakla. Thank you, man. Step sis, thank you. Looking snappy today. I appreciate it. But I would like to know your thoughts. I know you're commenting in here in the live chat, but please go comment on the video so I can see it because I don't go back and look at the live chat. I miss a lot of it. I want to know your thoughts. Go write your thoughts of what do you think this is. Again, on paper, this kid had it made. Could he went crazy, threw away his life? It's just that's not a common thing that happens. You know, that would be very, very uncommon. Every one of his friends that knew him said that he's the most kind-hearted guy in the world. I've seen at least 2, 3, 5 of his friends today commenting that he's the most kind, mild-mannered guy in the world. He's obviously intellectual. He's into bettering himself. Going to go murder someone in the street is not the path to success. Right? So it just does not fit the mold of an individual like this. A highly successful individual does not go. I don't know. I want to know your thoughts. Go put them in the comment feed for me so I can see it. Look at the bottom right of the 120 mark of his uploaded video. Yeah, it said soon. That's right. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. Go comment, like, share the video, and always remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous. Take care.
2, 3. 4, 2.